Hey, this is BlindFox and welcome at my Ration review. Please support the channel, please subscribe and please go and donate on patreon.com. So today we're going to do our dinner portion of our SERAC outdoor cuisine. The Extreme Pack, Pack 1. So this was packed in June 2020 and it expires in June 2023. So this is the new sort of ration pack stuff, so let's see. We already completed the other videos, so go and check them out if you missed them. And we did pack 4 as well, so go and check them out. So let's see what we're going to have for dinner. So this is just the normal salt and pepper stuff and your napkin we checked out before. This is not a bad little napkin. Or I think we checked out the napkin. Yeah, we did. And we've got our spork. Quite nice. So let's see. We've got beef stroganoff for our main. We've got the instant tea, which I dread since I don't like tea with milk and sugar in it. But we will review this. We've got raisins. They say the only thing in here is raisins. So I really still hope that this is not just raisins, that there's still some of the other, like the raisins we got in the first few rations we did. There were some raisins, but there were some interesting sort of lemon peel, and I think there was a cherry in some as well. We did this with a sort of a disinfectant wipe, sort of quite a nice disinfectant smell, but it's nice, it will get stuff clean, it's nice and wet. And this is just again the ration heater, which is sort of rolled up. You can see there all the stuff. You must just sort of flatten it out again. They sort of just flattened it just to get it a smaller profile. I like the previous ration heaters more. The other one I tested from this didn't really work, although I did add some salt in there. But I will test this again. Maybe the heater was just stupid. But I did test some of these heaters in the past and they worked wonderful. I think it's the same make. So let's see our beef stroganoff. This is about 560 kcal. The first ingredient there is potatoes. There is some water, about 19% bovine meat, which is cow meat, or, yeah, well, bovine, it's a cow or ox or whatever, sort of cattle meat or whatever you call it. Then there is some peas, there's some carrots. There's some garlic powder, onion powder. There's onions in as well. There's leeks in there. And then some other vegetable oil stuff. And there's some irradiated herbs and irradiated spices. They don't say what kind of herbs and spices they use. There's some Worcester sauce in there. And that's basically all we have. Maybe some other stuff I can't remember now. So a lot of potatoes. You can feel there's some nice big chunks in here. I haven't squashed anything, just feel it. You can feel there's nice big chunks. So we'll check this out. So let's see what's in our little, I haven't read the ingredients, but let's see what's in our, you can feel the tea bags in here. There's a tea bag. And you can feel the rest of the stuff down there. So let's see. And like all of these, it's got a ziplock and it is sealed up top. So just dare not should open. There we go. And this is just an anonymous tea bag on some milk and sugar. So if you really don't like tea with milk and sugar, you can always keep this and dump it into your oats for breakfast. And then just do the tea like that, like normal. But since it is a review, I will make the big suffering choice and just sort of pop the tea bag in here with hot water and, well, do the tea thing that way. So, we will go and mix this and I will be back after, what, 15-20 minutes. So let's just check out this. This is quite an interesting, just of a normal plastic. This tears very different, but it's really, it tears a bit. You have to tear it sort of from both sides. It's sort of just tearing, it's not sort of an easy tear plastic, and you can see there, really difficult to tear it nicely. So if you've got a knife for this or something, just cut it open. And here you've got your powder, which you literally just need to just flatten out a bit. And there we go. It's flattened out and you can pop your stuff in there. Just keep this sort of flat there. You can see there the sort of a gusseted pouch. You just need to keep it flat so that it heats better. And then you just pop this in there, put in hot water, and that's that. So while our stuff is still steeping or in the ration heater, let's check out our tea. I'm really not looking forward to this. This smells horribly like tea and water, tea and milk and stuff. Very sweet. You get that taste the milkiness. I've let this steep for sort of 10 to 15 minutes just to get the tea stronger, but this is still very sweet. Get that sort of tea taste. I'm not fond of it, but it's not a bad, I would say it's maybe not a bad tea. And this is just plain raisins. We didn't get that other raisins, which is a sad thing, but this is just normal plain sun-dried raisins. It's nice and sweet. Just normal Thompson raisins. This is just thrown into the sun and dry. There's nothing special to the making of these. They are nice and sweet. The sugar hasn't crystallized out yet, but it's still just a nice dried sweet grape taste or raisin taste. So nice great raisins. I hope we got the others with the lemon peel in and stuff. That was nice, but this is also nice raisins, and it's in a nice sturdy little pack, sort of a nice thick pack, so this will last a bit, quite long. You can see there it's foil lined. The only bad thing is this does not have a ziplock in it, so you can't sort of save some rice. If it's open, it's open. I still think that SERAC should add an extra sort of a ziplock bag that you can either put your sort of your raisins or your trail mix or whatever you've got in it, or that you can use to heat extra water. You know, just a multi-use sort of a ziplock little bag that can go into your ration heater. Then you can warm extra or heat extra water or anything. Oh well, what you can do is just when you use the coffee, one for the coffee or the tea or something, you can just sort of rinse this out very well and let it dry, and then use one of these, or just bring your own ziplock bag with you. So let's go and see. So as I said, this has been standing about 15 minutes, perhaps 10-15 minutes, and the verdict in the house is it's a bit, it's not strong enough, it's a bit weak. So I would, if you eat this in your ration heater, definitely leave your tea bag in, or just let it stand for a bit. So this is apparently a bit not strong enough, but the people in my house do like strong tea, or those who like tea. So this, I would say, is sort of middling tea then, if I should sort of, maybe on the weak side to middling, not a very strong tea. But it will do if you really like tea. And as I said, there is milk and sugar in here. If you don't want to use it for your tea, you can dump it into your muesli and then just keep the tea bag, since it is a tea bag inside there. And then just drink normal black tea, and then use your milk and sugar in your muesli, because the mueslis aren't extremely sweet. So if you like very sweet muesli with extra milk, just dump it in there. Or if you like coffee with extra milk and sugar, dump it in with your coffee. So there we go. So this ration heater, I don't know, some of the previous ration type heaters of those type that I had, I think was in some of the 2019 rations, they work nicely. Also, but these ones in this ration just doesn't want to really heat stuff up nicely. But there we go. I've got it sort of warm. You can see there is big, I think, pieces of potato there. There is some meat pieces in there. Everything is of course covered by this very light colored sauce. So let's take a bite. This smells almost cuminy, but it can just be a savory, but not supposed to be cumin in there, but There's supposed to be some tomato powder in there as well. I don't know what, a lot of other stuff as well. So let's take a bite. It tastes as it's not cumin. You might want to add some more salt here, because the milk in this sort of dampens down the saltiness of this. So you can add salt and pepper in here. I'm not going to, but there's a nice stroganoff flavor. The meat is nice. It's sort of a bit dry, but these meats, it is real meat, so it's sort of, you can actually taste the fibers in here. The potatoes are actually almost, it's not too soft even. There's a lot of potatoes in here. The potatoes aren't too soft. They are sort of almost nice and firm. The meat is, as I said, a bit dry, but that's how these meats are when you put it in here. They're nicely cooked. But there's so much sauce in there. A nice sauce, so it really, the dryness of the meat doesn't worry at all. There's some vegetables as well supposed to be in there. There's a pea, I think. Yeah, there's a pea. There's supposed to be a carrot in there as well. Leeks and oniony. You get sort of an oniony, nice savory meat taste. So despite the heat, it doesn't want to work nicely. This is a real nice dish, and I think because it's so nice and saucy, this dish can also, well, you can eat this cold. It won't be as nice and when it is still hot, but you sort of get that milky, meaty flavor. The only thing this thing lacks is, I think, sort of mushrooms in here. It would have been done great with some mushrooms, but as I said, it's nice. It's sort of a stroganoffy flavor. The potatoes aren't too soft. The meat itself, sort of, you can feel the fibers in it, so you can know that this is not prefab meat. It's real meat, and I mean, it basically tasted as if you just sort of cooked it. The potatoes, as you can see there, it's not too soft. I don't know if you can, but it's not. I can really feel this with the, you can see there, it still has its form. It's really, let's try and squash one. You can go through it, but it's not, as you can see, it's still firm enough, so it just doesn't sort of squash into just a mash. It still stays in its form. So this is I think this is a really nice dish. I'm so glad they put this in, because I thought that might be, you might lack some stuff, but because there's a lot of potatoes in here, it's nice. It's a really nice balanced dish. So what did I think about this? I really like the stroganoff. You get that stroganoffy flavor. There's some vegetables in there. There's some vegetable powders, as I say. So it gives it a nice, and the flavor is nice. So thinking about it, I think that while I was eating it, I was thinking maybe the potatoes are fried a bit in some way, because it's almost as if there's a little skin around them to keep them firm. And I don't know what they did, but it worked. It doesn't mash easily, so you don't just get sort of a mashy piece. Maybe if I get this meal again in the future with some other thing I order, I will try and squash everything and see how that works. But as I say, on its own, it's really, it didn't squash it. The potatoes didn't get squashed. So I think really that they might be sort of, I don't know what they did, so that a little skin formed around the potato. Maybe fry or roast, I'm not sure. Or air fry, whatever you call it. So that the little skin forms around a potato, and that keeps the potato sort of firm and in its form. It wasn't sort of squashy like a potato that was just cooked. Sort of when it didn't mash easily. So this was quite an interesting and a nice, good meal. I just zoomed out a bit. I see why I was a bit close. So the raisins, although it's just normal Thompson raisins, it's still a nice sweet thing to have. And of course you don't have to structure your meals the way I did. You can eat this throughout the day. You can mix your stuff up. And it's just a good mixture. And the tea, well, I don't like the tea, but I don't like tea with milk and sugar anyway. It's a bit weak, as some of the people in my house pointed out, but then we like, the rest like very strong tea. So I consider it sort of a weak to middling tea, which is fine. And as I said, you can always remove your tea bag and then use the powdered milk and sugar in your muesli, or in your coffee if you want it extra milky and sugary. So this was the dinner part of our SERAC Outdoor Cuisine, the Extreme Pack, Pack 1. Packed in 2020, expires in 2023. Or packed in June 2020, expires June 2023. So what did I think about this overall ration? It was a nice ration. The components it has, it's nice. You can mix and match it quite nicely. The meals itself, very nice flavor. They're new meals, I must say. I think it's a bit more flavor variance in flavor than some of their other stuff. They don't say what spices and herbs they use, but it's a nice. I mean, it's not. The flavors are really nice. So the pasta was interesting since it was mutton. Never had mutton pasta or not like that before. The meat there wasn't ground. It was also sort of whole meat pieces, which, although a bit dry, you can see it's the sauces on this stuff is enough that it sort of compensates for the dryness of the meat sometimes, or the sometimes dryness of the meat. So it's sort of a good balanced meals. The muesli was fine. So everything there you can sort of mix and match, and there's enough stuff so that you won't, even though this stuff is 400 grams, so it's large. That's why there isn't such a large variety of other stuff in there, but there's still enough stuff that you can have a breakfast, lunch and dinner, and some meals or little snacks for in between. I just split it into free so it's easier to review. So it's a good, for what, or so it is really good food. As I say, the stuff is firm enough that it could just have been cooked now, the potatoes. So overall, I think this is a good ration. So, thanks for watching. Please support the channel, please subscribe, please go donate on patreon.com, and see you at my next ration review.